Live from the BiffNet Studios World Headquarters in Spring, Texas, it's Barry on Deck. Hosted by former ESPN Houston radio host and stand-up comedian Barry Laminack. Starring Oliver the Cat. Written by Barry Laminack. Produced by Barry Laminack. Directed by, you guessed it, Barry Laminack. Featuring sports, entertainment, special guests, film sessions, and some drinking. Okay, a lot of drinking. Viewer discretion is advised. And now, here's your host, Barry Laminack.
What's up, you damn dirty deckheads? Welcome to Barry on Deck. We should say Barely on Deck. I'm your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys, wherever you are, whoever you are, for being here. Today is Monday, damn near Tuesday, August 3rd, 2026. Episode number 1090 of Barry on Deck. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. Hey. Hello. Hi. How are you? Good, I hope. So a little explanation is needed, I am sure. Your boy had an eye appointment. Had to go to the old eye doctor. Get the old balls checked. The eyeballs checked, that is. Ran long, of course. But it's in, it's done. What up, Cisco? What up, AJB? What up, my sweet, sweet Donna? D. Lou in the house just resubscribed for 28 months on tier 1 for 51 months. Get on that level. So we got AJB in on the tubes. We got Cisco and my sweet, sweet Donna here on Twitch. I almost didn't do a show. I was like, But then I was like, you know what? I know it's late, but it's MLB trade deadline, and we got to get some discussion in. I don't even know when it's over. Is it 5 o'clock Central? I believe it is. Yeah, 6 Eastern, 5 Central. So we have roughly 40 minutes left in the trade deadline. Astros made a move for an outfielder not named George Springer. Happy about that. I don't know if I'm thrilled about who they got, but you know what? I think it's better than what they have. And guys not named Yordan Alvarez, who doesn't play the outfield all the time. So we'll discuss that. Of course, the biggest news at the trade deadline is that the rich get richer, and baseball fans and I guess baseball people in general up in arms about one of the trades that went down. So let's get into that also. And we'll discuss. Of course, if you have questions, hit me up. Happy to answer them. I see we got some other folks joining us. Alex Villanueva's here. What's up, pimp? Not first, but close, baby. Pew, pew. Not long, busy day. All right, pew, pew, no worries. He said, I'm here, but not for long. No worries, pimp, no worries. Total Dallas is in the building. Breaking news, Yordan traded to the Rangers. Psych! Rangers got the ass beat, and now they're probably sellers at the deadline. Oopsie. I thought you said fuck it for sure. I almost did, bro, but I was like, nah, we got to talk about this. I'm able to do a show. It won't be a long one, but I'm here. So, yeah, let's do it. Alex said they got a rental for a pitcher under team control for 3 more years. Yuck.
Revolving light, revolving light, revolving light, breaking news, revolving light, revolving light, revolving light per Adam Schefter. Total Dallas has been timed out.
That was the weirdest timeout in the history of timeouts here on Barry on Deck. First of all, Total Dallas, he gone. Cisco's at revolving light, revolving light, revolving light, breaking news, revolving light. I was like, what the fuck is that? I forget that when they read it, they read the emoji. They don't just give you the emoji. They read you. I wonder if you put the poop emoji in the next timeout. If it'd be like poop emoji, that'd be hilarious. Per Adam Schefter, though, Total Dallas has been timed out. Well, That didn't take long. Over here trying to steal Yordan Alvarez from us.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, have a great time.
Goodbye, Total Dallas.
Fuck out of here, you fucking accuser!
Fuck out of here, you fucking accuser.
Well, see you later.
Get out of here.
Goodbye, everybody.
See you later, fucker!
Goodbye, Total Dallas. Get your bitch ass off the YouTubes. It sucks too because it's not a long show, buddy. You know I love you. Before I time him out, I just want to say thank you to Total Dallas. He's a gentleman and a scholar and an amazing person. And you'll notice right here, bam! You see that? That right there, folks, that is a vinyl record of Richard Pryor. Total Dallas found it in, I think, a thrift store. I don't know where it was, but he sent me some pictures. He's like, you like this? I was like, bro, that's dope. I hadn't been to my P.O. box since at least February when he mailed it. Probably before that. Probably like January or December. So I went by this past weekend. I had to get something notarized. And I was like, oh, let me give him a mail. And that was in the mail waiting for me. So shout out to Total Dallas. He's a real one. I'm sorry you got timed out. This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, Total Dallas. This is what my dad used to say before he would whoop this. This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you. What the fuck it is, then give me the belt. I love you, Total Dallas. We'll see you in 10 minutes. And he's gone. Okay. Poor guy. He probably was like, made this little joke, and then he was like, fuck. Just shut everything down. Don't give a shit. You guys are assholes, and I'm here for it. All right. So much for love each other. Alex and Cisco, I was typing one up. That's hilarious. Yeah, Hearttop said duck the Fodgers. Yeah, that too. Pew pew. Perry said, I'm glad I was here for the timeout, though. All right, peace, brother. Be safe out there. Yeah, what up, John Dorier? John Dorier said, TD who? No one here by that name. What up, Uriel? Good to see you, Pampin'. All right, so let's talk trades. What up, PB Dubs? Let's talk MLB trades. Let's get to the local news first, and then we'll get to the biggest news of this trade deadline thus far. First of all, it says the Astros are not done. They're also discussing a pitcher, especially after giving up what they gave up to get that outfielder. Chandler Rome of The Athletic reports that Nationals left-hander Foster Griffin is one player under consideration for Houston's front office. There's no indication the Astros have zeroed in on him specifically, and other starters like Casey Mize and Shane Bieber are still on the board. Griffin seems likely to be traded, barring last-minute extension. Nationals were swept by the Braves, blah, blah, blah. It says Griffin, who is playing on a $5.5 million free agent contract, has a 3.06 ERA with a 22% strikeout rate, 6% walk rate across 22 starts. So would be a good addition, would be an upgrade over who they got rid of. So let me read you the trade first that the Astros have pulled off. And it involves them swapping players. They would be swapping if this goes through, and it should. It says Blue Jays and Astros are close to a trade that'll send center fielder Dalton Varsho. Welcome to Houston, Dalton, from Toronto to Houston in exchange for righty Spencer Arrighetti. So I can't make any more spaghetti Arrighetti jokes. Damn it. Two teams are reviewing the medical records of both players. Varsho is 30. We'll give Houston a left-handed bat they've spent months pursuing. He's a free agent at the end of the season. Arrighetti, I saw Alex said he was under team control for 3 more years, I believe he said. I don't know. Let me pull up his contract sitch. Oh, wow. It says, with Varsho sliding into center field on the everyday basis, the Astros can use Cam Smith in right field and plug either Wade Trammell or another forthcoming acquisition into left. Astros talked to the Twins about Trevor Larnach recently, but owner Jim Kane reportedly stepped in to squash a deal that would have sent righty Brian Abreu to Minnesota in return for Larnach. It's not entirely clear whether Houston will continue to try to add another outfield bat, but they could certainly use some more stability. Let's see. Arrieta has at times been an unexpected boom for the Houston staff. Debuted in 24, broken thumb, blah, blah, blah. He's got MLB stuff. Where's his contract at? Let me just pull this up here. It says, pre-arb eligible. He's a free agent in 2030. So, team control through the end of this season and then 3 more years. So first, let me just give you my thoughts on the deal. Varsho's a free agent in 2027. So here's the deal. Varsho, his numbers are not good this year. And it might be a case where he's one of those needs a change of scenery kind of guys, because up until this year, he's put up pretty damn good numbers. And like his home run numbers, for example, if you exclude his first year in Arizona, he went 11 in 95 games, 27, 20, 18, 20. With an OPS plus above 100 3 times, including last year at 120. So he's got the power. It's there. It's just not showing up this year. He won a Gold Glove in 2024. He is an elite center fielder on defense, for sure. I believe an upgrade for sure in the outfield for the Astros. And look, when your pitching staff has struggled like this team has, adding a defensive, an elite defender in the outfield, you end up saving runs. And this is, I mean, let's not all forget the old Chazzy Fizz catch in center field when he had the imprint of his back in the dirt and all that. That was a playoff changing catch. So that matters, having guys like that. So from a defensive standpoint, Astros immediately upgraded their defense. From a power production standpoint, this team got a little more pop. He's never going to hit for a really high average. His on base is actually higher now. One good way to look at this is let's see. His batting average on balls in play. This measures how effectively the defense turned balls into outs. He's hitting 289, and that's really good. That's the best of his career. Last year, his home run percent was 7.4. It's down to 1.9. So not sure what's happened in the power department this year. He only had 271 plate appearances last year, 365 already this year. But I think one of the things, like he's going to give you, first of all, a left-handed bat in the lineup, which, you know, a lot of people don't subscribe to the righty-lefty things anymore. But with Yordan kind of being the only left-handed stick in the lineup, this gives them a chance to put a run producer and a power guy and a lefty in the middle of a lineup that makes managers, especially down the stretch and especially in the playoffs, got to play a little more bullpen. You got to be a little more bullpen savvy. So that all matters, right? Is this a monumentous, huge? No, it has the potential to be a good get. If he finds his power stroke down the stretch, it could go from good to great. All right. At worst, what you just did is upgraded your defense significantly. up the middle. And look, the old saying in baseball, if defense wins championships, and the way you get better defensively is up the middle. And that means catcher, that means shortstop, second base, and that means center field. And if you have good defenders at those positions, or elite, then you're probably going to be an elite defensive team, which gives you an advantage, especially headed into the postseason. And make no mistake about it, I've talked about it on this show plenty. When you look at the Astros, one of the things that stands out, that's glaring, they're the hottest team in baseball. Said apparently they had the best record since like, I don't know, May 20th, May 19th or something like that. I posted something on Threads that the Astros, let me see if I can find it. I'll tell you who I think has made the biggest impact besides Jordan and Jeremy Pena. Josh Hader. The Astros are 29-20 since Josh Hader returned to anchor the bullpen. 29-20 since his return. What that allowed is, you can move guys that were slotted down and into more important roles. You can slot them back. Pressure's off a little bit. They can perform the role they were meant to perform, and they can relax a little. And it's also kind of extended the bullpen. The rotation has gotten better. Hunter Brown coming back was big, but Josh Hader's been huge. Been one of the stingiest closers in baseball this season, and is usually every season. So this team has already been playing a lot better, which I predicted they would. If you go back, I said eventually when this team gets healthy, this is a good team last year. They can be a good team this year. But Jeremy Pena's hot. I mean, Yordan Alvarez is MVP. You know, Hunter Brown's starting to look like an ace again. You got Hader. So you're starting to put it together. Now, the question I know a lot of you may have is, yeah, but did you give up too much in Spencer Arrighetti? No, you did not. Other than team control, Arrighetti was very, and I think they said in the article, but the best way to describe him was boom or bust. When he was on and dealing and hot, man, nobody could touch him. There was a moment this season when it was like, ooh, boy, look at that. And then he's got a 4.60 ERA. He's 7-5, by far his best winning percentage. Last year he was 1-5 with a 5.35 ERA, and the year before that 7-13 with a 4.53 ERA. WAR for a pitcher is important. He's got a 0.6, which is the best of his 3 years with the Astros. But I think they felt like Ronel Blanco looks good. He's back. Christian Javier went out and gave you 5 solid when you needed him to. Lambert's the man right now. Lambert is, and by the way, just pause. Everybody go ahead and show some love to Joe Espada, because a lot of people won't give him credit for what happened yesterday, but they brought Lambert back on 4 days rest. Didn't have to do that. But Lambert has been their best pitcher by far, consistently. I mean, Hunter Brown is their best pitcher, but Lambert's just been there all season. And knowing the importance of that third game of the series with the Rangers, because let's just step back even further. Astros win the first, take over possession of first place, and then they win the second, and now they are a game and a half up on the Rangers. But if they lose the third game, all you really gained was that one half game. You're still in first, but it's a half a game, which means nothing. So it was important, the difference between being a half game up and 2.5 up. All rested on that game 3. That was a crucially important game. Not just for that series and for the Astros, to be in first place, but I think it was crucial for that team and management and ownership to realize they're legit. Look at what they've done since the All-Star break, ignoring the sweep by the Orioles. That was crazy. But since the All-Star break, they're the best record in baseball by far. Best team in baseball. Not a huge sample size, but it's a hell of a good run. I saw another thing that they've got the third best record against teams above 500 in baseball. Second or third best. You'll take that too. That means they're playing up to their level of competition and down. But this team, it kind of all came together at the right time. And so Joe Espada, by running Lambert out there, and it looked like, oh shit, he's going to collapse there in the fifth. And he didn't. And, sticking with him for that one as well was really smart. So props to Joe Espada for a really critical move in a hugely important baseball game yesterday against the Texas Rangers. I mean, critical, crucial, important game. And he brought in Lambert, and they get the win. So that was big. That was huge. I was looking for the box score. Where did it go? Let's see. What is this? What am I looking at? Oh, that's crazy. I'm looking at the wrong season. No fucking wonder. Oh well, I can't find the box score. But let me just go to ESPN and be faster. Doo-doo. Shoo-doo. Shoo-doo. Blah, 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 blah. And scores.
Guess what? The New York Yankees.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, so Astros won 7-3 yesterday. Lambert goes 5 2/3, gives up 2 earned runs, 8 strikeouts on 4 days rest. Now has a 3.06 ERA. So give Joe Espada some credit for that. Now back to Arrighetti. Does this? Alex on the waiver brought up, you got a rental guy for the rest of the season, and you gave up a starting pitcher with 3 years left on his deal, or 3 years of team control. Listen, having 3 years of team control of a guy whom you can't count on. Again, when he's booming, he's booming. But when he's busting, it's busting. So what you did is you solidified the outfield for this season to make a run. You're feeling confident about yourself. You know what your starting pitching for the most part is going to look like, especially, you can go and look at the depth chart, but especially as you approach and get into the playoffs. You'll have Brown, then Lambert, then Blanco, then Javier, Wisniewski, and others that can contribute. But that'll be your core right there. So that was huge. And I don't think you're losing much in Arrighetti. I really don't. Again, good when he's good, terrible when he's bad. And I read you his stats for the season. Let me get back there. Where is it? There it goes. Yeah. He's 7-5 with a 4.60 ERA in 17 starts. It's good. It's decent. He's holding it down, but I mean, his strikeouts, he pitched in 29 games in his rookie season and had 171 strikeouts. So he's definitely not approaching that. ERA plus 100 is dead middle. He's a 91 ERA plus. So he's very much below average when it comes to that. So that's that. But again, there's discussions that they're looking to make a trade for another. Let me refresh here. Twins to acquire Jeff Hoffman. Guardians acquire Foster Griffin. So they're not getting Foster Griffin. The Guardians done that from the Nationals. Brewers to acquire Antonio Zenzatella. Red Sox Giants to swap Marcelo Meyer for Eric Miller. Orioles to acquire Christian Franklin. Yankees working to acquire Helio Ramos. Rays acquire Tyler Wells. Cubs acquire Ryan Zephyrian from the Angels. Phillies to move Bryce Harper to the outfield. Cubs acquire Braxton Garrett. Okay. I think that's... Yeah, so I don't see anything new from the Astros perspective. I'm just going to pull them up on MLB trade rumors. And we can refresh that periodically. So, yeah, so you can forget Foster Griffin. He's out. That would have been a good get. He got a 3.5 WAR, 3.06 ERA. He's 12-3. But will be a free agent next year. Another names, Trevor Larnach. He's got a 1.6 WAR. He's another left fielder, designated hitter, left-handed bat. If they did that, oh no, that's not who they're after. That was somebody they were looking at. Excuse me. Where's the other two? Other two pitchers, Casey Mize and Shane Bieber. So Mize is with Detroit, 2.8 WAR. He's 4-6 with a 2.70 ERA. So just some bad luck out in Detroit. One way to tell that is you can look at fielding independent pitching, or his FIP. Let's go check his FIP. Let's see his FIP. What's your FIP, sir? His FIP. So I'll read you what FIP is. This stat measures a pitcher's effectiveness at preventing home runs, walks, hit by pitches, and causing strikeouts. Constant is set so that each season Major League average FIP is the same as the Major League average ERA. He's got a 2.58 fielding independent pitching. So in other words, it's how effective you are, because once you put the ball in play, there could be errors. There could be, the ball hits off the bag or a foot or whatever, takes a weird bounce. Can't control that. So having that number gives you an idea of, like, do they keep the ball in the park? Do they not give up walks or hit batters? And are they getting strikeouts? 258, best of his career. So that would be good. So that shows you how much of a tough luck year he's had. Got a 158 ERA plus. That's outstanding. Shane Bieber with the Blue Jays. Rangers have sent infielder Josh Smith and minor league right-hander Josh Steff to the Blue Jays for Adam Mako. Oh, okay. I was like, what? Did they already get Bieber? No. So Bieber's got a 5.74 ERA. He's 2-2. His FIP, just to give you an idea, 6.32 versus Casey Mize. So Mize would be a really good ad. He'd be a free agent at the end of the year. Man, Bieber, when Bieber's good, Bieber's good. But, like, he led MLB in FIP in 2020 with a 2.07. That's the year he won Cy Young. But he's not the same since. Yeah, he's just not had a good go of it. He got hurt in 2024. Made 7 starts in 2025. He's already made 7 this year. Numbers way down. So, yeah, if they add Casey Mize, watch out. But I don't know what they have to give up for him. That said, Dalton Varsho for Spencer Arrighetti. I like it overall. I like it. It's not a bad deal for this team, given their constraints. You didn't have to give anybody that you didn't have to, worry about the farm system. You gave up a guy who really hadn't done shit for you in the grand scheme of things year over year. So that's my 2 pennies. Let me see what you guys have to say. Hey, what's up, Brian Pettit? Good to see you. Barry, how far do you think they could go? I'm assuming they meaning the Astros. I think they could get into or past the divisional round. No guarantee they're going to win this division. But I think if they can add another arm, they got 10, 15 minutes left. But even without that, with this rotation, this bullpen, and the lineup went healthy and clicking, I think they can get past the divisional round, but I'm not sure that it goes much further than that. I think if they win a divisional round, then that's pretty much it. And currently, let me see if I go to MLB. Where's the playoff? MLB playoff. Current 2026. So the wild card round would be the number 3 seed division winner versus the number 6 seed wild card. And then you'd have wild card 1 playing wild card 2. So Astros are going to be playing the wild card no matter what. Currently your wild card is the Yankees, Red Sox, and Cleveland, which it could also be Minnesota, could be the Rangers, could be Seattle, could be Baltimore, probably not the Tigers or Baltimore because they're sellers now. But they also could end up being the third wild card, which means they're going to play somebody in their division if that were the case. So they would either play the Rangers or the Mariners. If they play the Rangers, I really like their odds there. They seem to struggle with the Mariners for whatever reason. Against Cleveland and Minnesota, I think those are very winnable series for the Astros in the wild card. Now, on to the divisional. Baseball doesn't reseed after the round. I always forget this. Baseball, I think. I forget who it is. No, baseball doesn't. I want to see. Let's see. What league? NFL. So the NFL is the only of the 4 majors that does that. In contrast, NBA, MLB, and NHL use a fixed predetermined bracket. So, you're basically looking at, like right now, Tampa and Chicago would have buys. Yankees will play the Red Sox. Astros will play Cleveland. And then from there, you would have, let's see. MLB bracket. Let me get over here. Postseason bracket. Yeah. So the ALDS. Yeah, it would be 1 versus either 4 or 5 and 2 versus 3 or 6. So if the Astros win their wild card round, they would be playing the number 2 seed, which would be the White Sox. If they are and that's either if they win the division or if they're the third wild card, which they would be. So either way, they'll be playing the number 2 seed in the next round, and that would be currently the White Sox. I think they could beat the White Sox. Like I said, I think they can get to the divisional round. That's where, I think I would kind of cap it there. It won't surprise me if they get out of the divisional round, but that's a tough one. That's a tough one. With Brown and they would have the starting pitching. They would definitely have the bullpen. The offense be the biggest thing. So, but yeah, I think the ceiling is the losing in the ALCS, and I think more realistically they probably lose in 7 in the divisional round or something like that, which is a far cry from what this team showed us in April for sure. They were like 8-18 in April. They dug themselves a monumental hole to get out of, and they've done it slowly but surely. Walt has a really good question. Does purgatory serve well in MLB? I know it does in NFL and NBA, but I haven't studied off-season baseball. It's definitely more of a wild card because the crazy thing about MLB is you never know who's going to blossom. You never know in your farm system who all of a sudden could be an impact player, right? And that could be, and because there's so many players and you've got 3 levels of the farm system or more, really 5 or 6. No, it's not purgatory. So to answer the question, no, it's not the same as NBA purgatory or NFL purgatory. Not the same. Now, if you are constantly there year over year for a decade and you're picking, middle to the bottom of the draft, yeah, it can start to have an effect. But even then, man, you look at a lot of these guys that are, elite right now, some of them just come out of nowhere. They just figure it out. So definitely not the same as the other 2 sports. As the Pirates, is selling at the deadline almost like conceding defeat? Yes. But here's the thing. You're not conceding defeat forever. What you're saying is, look, we don't think we have what it takes to be competitive to get to and or win a World Series. Like Walt was asking about purgatory. What good is losing a wild card round? What does that do for you? Not much. But if you're smart and you take some of these guys whose contracts are expiring at the end of the season and you ship them off to somebody who feels like, man, we could really win it all this year, and you get some of their best prospects back. And again, this is how you can, counterbalance years of purgatory. So it's not necessarily admitting defeat, PB Dubs. I think what it is and should be considered, if it's done right and the moves are effective, it's just good management, right? Because the goal isn't to just be good. The goal is to win a World Series every single year. So you have to say to yourself, what are we doing that's moving us towards that goal? If we are buyers at this deadline, do we have a real shot of winning a World Series right now with our injuries, with whatever? Is that going to, if the answer is no this year, all right, well, let's look at contracts that are expiring, how much maneuvering we'll have in the offseason, who we've got to take care of, free agent possibilities, what are our needs, and also, can we move some of these contracts and get out from under them for the rest of the season and replenish our farm system or improve it? Because then in the offseason, you can take some of those assets and trade for a better player, or at the next year's deadline, you can do that. So you've got to be thinking ahead. So it's not necessarily missing defeat. It's good management. You're not going to win every single year. And if you're a fringe wild card team, the likelihood of that happening, I'm not saying all wild card teams. The Yankees absolutely could win the World Series. They won't, but they're absolutely in it as a wild card. The Red Sox, they were the hottest team in baseball for a while. That says something. The Astros, I think you got to go for it, though. I don't think they're so bad that you don't go for it. Again, they were a half game out of the wild card last year, and now they can turn around and win this division. So they're in the driver's seat. I hope that answers that. They could have traded for Dylan Cease, but the Astros said no. Oh, they could have traded him for last year for Dylan Cease, but the Astros said no. Yeah, Donna, that was so funny last night. I hope you guys saw the video, but during the game yesterday, the Rangers manager Schumacher, it was after the 7th inning, top of the 7th, going into the middle of the 7th, when they normally sing God Bless America. And it was a call third strike for, I think it was Abreu to get out of the inning. Terrible call. Terrible. No, make no mistake about it. It was a bad call. But the Rangers were out of challenges. Such is life. And so it killed a rally. It killed, and I guess the bench chirped up, said something. So somebody got ejected on the bench, and then Schumacher came out to argue. And here, him and the umper going at you son of a bitch, now you kiss my, God bless them. And they just stop mid-argument. And then as soon as it's over, he's like, let me tell you one thing, you son of a bitch. And he's like, get out of here. Hilarious. Find the video. I'll find it, but hilarious. And you should be mad as a Rangers fan, Total Dallas. That sucked. That was a terrible call. Kalshi, bet on Rangers to still win the division. I'll hold the bet. You don't need Kalshi. You can just say, I'll book it. I'll book it for you. That's how confident I am. I was at the game yesterday and the crowd went crazy with MVP chants. So much fun. Oh, that's awesome, Donna. That is awesome. What up, Keith? All right, so I hope I answer some questions. And let's see, deadline's a minute away. Let's see. Do we have any news? Diamondbacks to acquire Lars Nootbaar. Rays to acquire Tyler Wells. Twins to acquire Jeff Hoffman. Guardians acquire Foster Griffith. So that looks like it's it. Unless there's something in the next 10 minutes, and that's possible. They just haven't gotten it yet. Looks like the Astros' big acquisition at the deadline is going to be a rental in the outfield for Dalton Varsho, which it's going to help. All right. It's definitely going to help. You're not going to continue to get the production out of Taylor Trammell that you've been getting. And Lamont Wade Jr. is not, you're not always going to find yourself in bases loaded situations for him to come through, which he won't all the time. I support Jordan for MVP. My man. So we don't suck again. No, the Astros do not suck. Like I said, let's see. Best record in baseball since May 19. How did Stat Muse? Since May 19, 2026, Milwaukee Brewers have the best record. So they must have done it since then. Astros are 39-25. Red Sox are 40-24. Dodgers are 40-24. And the Brewers are 42-24. Here's the good news. The American League is not good. Right? So when you look at that playoff picture, you're like, literally 1 through 6 could potentially represent the AL in the World Series. The bad news is probably won't matter because no matter who they face from the National League, they're going to get beat. That's just a fact. So yeah, the Astros 1 game off there. Let me see. Can I modify this URL? Let's see. Let's do the 20th. Let's do the 21st. So, that was May 31st. No, you dumb bitch. Since May 21, 2026, they still no change. Astros' second best record in baseball, 38-24, along with the Dodgers and the Red Sox. But that gives you an idea of what this team is capable of. Brewers still best record, 40-24, since May 21st. But Astros tied for the best record in the American League for sure, a .613 winning percentage. So again, this is a good team. It's not a great team, but the problem is, and it's crazy in the NL, the 2 best teams in baseball are destined to face each other. That won't be the World Series. World Series will be one of the 2 best teams in baseball versus whoever the American League, whoever wins the American League. Just a fact. So the Astros have as good a shot as really anybody in the American League. Good news is salary cap coming, evening the playing field after the lockout. I hope the Dodgers keep pushing to this hard cap. Yeah. Walt said, I'd like to trade TD for YouTube to Twitch for Donna and CC. So the height of the contracts match. So let's talk about what Total Dallas is bringing up. I hope the Dodgers keep pushing to this hard cap. Well, that's the problem. And if you didn't hear, Dodgers went out and got Tarek Skubal. So the rich get infinitely richer. Now, they've had a lot of injuries. And so we've seen this before in baseball with the Yankees were the evil empire. They just spent money on everybody. And the one thing is this. You can outspend everybody. But if you don't do it correctly, if you don't get the right prospects, what we've seen, or you do the right players, what we've seen is that it won't matter. And we saw that with the Yankees. Year after year, they would sign the biggest free agents on the market. I mean, look at their lineup, Stanton, and they kept Judge, but they just adding all these names doesn't matter if you don't add the right ones. That's the difference between the Dodgers and the Yankees. The Dodgers, the moves that they've made and the free agent acquisitions that they've signed, along with, this is what you got to give them credit for, along with building up a really talented farm system, and keeping it restocked. That's why the Dodgers are as good as they are. That and the ability to move money around, funny money, extending guys for 30 years, deferred money, 20 years, whatever it is. They didn't break any rules, but that's the problem. Is their manager, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, Dave Roberts. Dave Roberts said, look, we haven't done anything that any other team couldn't do. I would put an asterisk on that statement, though, and say not every team has the luxury of having the kind of money that the Dodgers have in order to be able to do what they do. Because if the Dodgers make a mistake in the current landscape of finances in MLB, they can just keep deferring. You could have a whole roster of Bobby Bonillas. And when the time comes to pay the piper, well, that's okay. Yeah, we still owe, Shohei Ohtani money, but we make so much money that it doesn't matter. Second apron, schmecking apron. We'll get there easily. Because as long as we're winning and winning World Series and being competitive, we'll make more money than anybody in baseball. And so they're doing it. Now, the crazy thing is when this salary cap comes, and I strongly believe it will they grandfather all of these contracts? And is that why the Dodgers were like, screw it. Let's go get Skubal. Yeah, we'll do some more money stuff and move the shells around. Because if they do a salary cap, you can't just hard cap everybody right now. You almost have to say, all right, from this point forward, all of these contracts are grandfathered, do percentages or whatever. But you can't punish the Dodgers for playing within the rules right now and then retroactively slap them with a salary cap. Wouldn't be fair. As much as I dislike the Dodgers, I can't stand them. I think they're ruining baseball. But that's the reality of it when you look at it, not through the lens of a fan, but objectively. Do I think the Dodgers are ruining baseball and bad for baseball? Absolutely. But so are the Yankees. The difference is between the two, the Dodgers are winning World Series. And that's why everybody's mad. If the Dodgers were getting bounced every year, no one would give a shit. That's the same reason with the Astros. Why everybody hated the Astros is because they cheated one year. It pissed everybody off, so they hated them every year, even though they weren't cheating. Won a World Series, not cheating. They'll never get. That's never discussed. The only World Series that's discussed is the 2017. Fans gonna fan. That's part of the fun. But I think Tarek Skubal going to the Dodgers was the final, it was the death knell. It was the final nail in the coffin, straw that broke the camel's back. All the cliches. Baseball people love cliches. All those. In terms of this league MLB moving towards the salary cap. So the Dodgers had to do it, though. Here's why. This is what's crazy. As much money as the Dodgers have spent, they don't even have the best record in the National League. That belongs to the Brewers. The Brewers are 69-42, a .622 winning percentage. Dodgers are 69-43, a .616 winning percentage. Dodgers are a plus 150 run differential, runs scored versus runs allowed. The Brewers are a plus 135. So all that money spent to be a half game worse than the best team in the National League. And the Braves are right there. They are 2 losses behind the Dodgers, 3 losses behind the Brewers. The Braves are a really good team. They're one of 3 teams in the National League with a 100-plus run differential. They've got a 108. Brewers 135, Dodgers 150. Over in the National League, no team has above a 100 positive 100 run differential. The highest run differential in the National or American League, the Yankees at a plus 87, which is good for being 2.5 back in the East. So again, Tampa, small market team, 2.5 game lead right now. Chicago, the White Sox spend money, but they weren't supposed to be this good. 3-game lead on Cleveland. I mean, none of those in the Central are big market teams. I guess the White Sox would be considered. American League West has just been ass all season. But Braves aren't the biggest pair. Let's see. MLB payroll versus market size. There's no list. Baseball's competitive balance issue explained. Breaking down team payroll disparity in MLB. Team revenue versus payroll. Here we go. What was this? This was April of last season. So, this gives you an idea, though. Team revenue, Dodgers made $752 million in 2024. Their payroll was 73% of their revenue, $549 million. The Yankees made $728 million, second highest. Their payroll was $362. That was good for 49.7%. The Astros made $494 million, seventh highest revenue in 2024. Spent $239 million, eighth highest, for a 48.5% payroll to revenue percentage. So your top 2 in revenue versus payroll percentage are the Mets in 2024 made $444 million, spent $400 million, 90% of their money. And then the Dodgers. And then Toronto, as far as percentage, they spent 71% of their revenue. So your third highest revenue earner were the Cubs. Fourth was Boston, $574 million. And fifth was Philly. Sixth was Atlanta. 7, Houston. San Francisco, 8. 9 was the Mets. 10 was the Padres. So there's your top 10 as far as the revenue in 2024. And those teams are genuinely the most competitive, but Brewers were not on that list of top 10. And here they are. Let's see. Oh, this is an interesting stat. There's a clear relationship between payroll and on-field performance. While MLB and its fans have enjoyed a wide variety of teams reaching the playoffs. So payroll rank 1 through 5, average wins 89. For the average record of the top 5 payrolls, 89 and 73, a +8 win differential versus 500. So 8 games above 500. That's what being a top 5 payroll will get you. 6 through 10 get you 86 wins on average. 3 less. Puts you 5 games over 500. If your payroll ranks 11 through 15, that's good for 82 wins, 1 game above 500. And then anything below 15, you're below 500. So if your payroll is not in the top 15, you're not a winning franchise. You got to spend money to make money. Problem is, some of these markets are capped at about how much they can make. So yeah, it's got to be fixed. My Padres suck. Yes, they do. What up, Jesus? Tatis Machado, what a letdown. Woof. Yeah, man. There was a time when Tatis Machado looked like they were going to be unstoppable. Who did the Rockets do with all that Yao? What did the Rockets do with all that Yao China money? They still make it, but the NBA has a cap. Kind of like what everyone said about the Western Conference Finals in basketball until the Knicks showed up. So you're telling me there's a chance? Yep. Exactly. Although, I'm telling you there's a chance to get there. I don't think either of these teams are beating. I mean, yeah, you're right, though. I didn't think anybody would beat the Thunder. But, man, Padres and Dodgers just kind of feel inevitable, don't they? Let's see. What other deals have gone down? Did we miss anything? Padres get Miz. So there goes Mize. There goes Casey Mize. He went to the Padres from the Tigers. So there your Padres are right back up in there. Guardians get Nathaniel Lowe. A trade with the Reds. Diamondbacks get Lars Nootbaar. Yep. Newest Dodger ace getting loose. Whatever. Twins acquiring Jeff Hoffman. So that's it. I think that was your big move at the deadline. I do think it's interesting, though, before I go. You saw there was that Jim Crane nixed a trade. He didn't think it was wise to give up Brian Abreu. And Abreu is their de facto setup man. But there are guys in that rotation, when I say rotation, I mean bullpen rotation, that get you from your starter to your closer. Pretty much all of them are having better years than Brian Abreu. The problem is, one, Abreu has a ton of playoff experience. Been here since 2019. His track record is undeniable. I mean, ERA year over year since 2019, 1.04, 2.7. 5.75 wasn't great in 2021. 1.94, 1.75, a 310, and a 228. Unbelievable numbers. He's struggling this year. 4.54. One thing we can look at, though, and that should here. So his numbers right now for Abreu, he's got 7 saves with a 4.54 ERA and a 1.46 WHIP. Not great. Ben Souza, 3.24 ERA, 1.56 WHIP. Not great. Brian King, 3.61 ERA, 1.35 WHIP. Not great. Enya De Los Santos, 4.38 ERA, 1.19 WHIP. WHIP is good. ERA, not so much. And Stephen Okert has been by far the best. 2.28 ERA, 0.87 WHIP. That's your setup guy. He's your setup man, but he's a lefty. But he's your high leverage guy. up until the 8th inning. So anytime between 1 and 8, he's your high leverage guy. But he could have filled that role. And there's possibilities of other guys coming back that could move, your 5th starter into the bully. So, but I think it was not the right time to give up on Bryan Abreu. He's had a bad season. It happens. But I think I would let me look at his game log. Yeah, so his April, just to give you an idea. His April, let me pull this up for you. I'll let you see this instead of just talking about it. This will give you a better idea of probably why Crane was like, nah. And so why I also don't necessarily disagree with the move, right? So if you look at Bryan Abreu's April, it was atrocious. He gave up 9 earned runs in 8 innings. He had a 10 ERA. And then he had 1 hold, 1 save, 2 losses. But in May, he pitched 9 innings, gave up 1 earned run, had a 1 ERA. 2 wins, 2 saves, 3 holds, lights out. In June, he's struggling, but not terrible. 4 earned runs over 8 2/3 innings, a 4.15 ERA, a loss and 2 saves. His July, he goes 11 innings, 2 earned runs, which is good for a 1.64 ERA, 2 saves and a hold. And then he's got 2 games in August, both against the Rangers. Comes in 1 2/3 innings, no earned runs. Gets 3 strikeouts. 1 was a gift. Got a win and a hold. So he's trending after that atrocious April. He's getting back to the Bryan Abreu that we're used to. And he's only 29. So if you want to be competitive in the postseason, you're going to need somebody like Bryan Abreu. Facts. So I don't hate for once that the owner stepped in and said, no, you can't trade him. Not the worst thing in the world that could have happened to this team. So, all right, that's the show. I hope that answered everybody's questions. Waiting on various MLB owners to start doing the Netflix documentary clips where the subject is getting the federal government to look into the Dodgers. That's funny. Appreciate y'all being here, man. I'm glad we got that in. Going to be interesting down the stretch. Astros by no means are a lock to win this division. Don't get it twisted. I don't know what. Let me see. Right fast. Let me go to MLB trade rumors. Let's see what the Rangers did at the deadline and the Mariners did at the deadline. Rangers Blue Jays swapped Josh Smith and Adam Mako. So Rangers have sent infielder Josh Smith and a minor league right-hander Josh Steven to the Blue Jays for left-hander Adam Mako per announcements. Smith is 28. Is the player in the deal with the most big league experience. He's basically an everyday guy for the Rangers, 24, 25. Utility piece. Didn't have a set position. Bounced around. Having a down year. Jay seemed to be hoping that this is a buy low thing. Toronto will get a close-up look. Texas sends outfielder, blah, blah, blah. Mako's in his final option year, so he'll be out of options next season. He was presumably running out of time with the Jays' long-term plans. He is a rookie and hasn't yet qualified for arbitration, which surely adds to the appeal. So Jacob deGrom invokes no trade clause. Oh, deGrom will remain with the team after declining to waive his no trade clause, per Ken Rosenthal. Veteran has full no trade clause protections. Would have had to sign off on any deal. Rosenthal adds that Texas is also asking shortstop Corey Seager and Nathan Eovaldi about waiving their no trades. Interesting. Rangers had found a buyer for deGrom, but he preferred to remain in Texas. Woo, that's interesting. Rangers received an interest in Gore and Eovaldi. Doesn't look like that went down. Rangers designate Chris Martin for assignment. This was all yesterday. And the Mariners. Oh, I did the Marlins. No, the Mariners, not the fucking Marlins. Mariners not playing the trade of Rosarina could still move a starter. Mariners to acquire Taylor Ward. Cubs interested in Kirby Soriano, Weaver Hoffman. So doesn't look like anybody in the AL West did a whole lot. Not a whole lot. So we'll see. All right, that's it. That is a show. All right. Here we go. We'll see you tomorrow, buddy. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Heartthrob. Thank you, everybody, for joining the show. Much love to you. Have a great night. Who are the Astros playing tonight? Let's see. Where are they? Are they off tonight? Pull up the hedge. They're playing Toronto. Oh, interesting. Wonder if Varsho will play in this. He just got to switch clubhouses. He was already down here. All right, so Shane Bieber versus Christian Javier. Interesting. Bieber was a name thrown out, too. All right. Enjoy that game, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I will warn you, Nora and I have to get her car done, so it's possible that we don't have shit, but I might still do it. We'll see how it goes. All right. So I see you tomorrow or Wednesday. Do me a favor. Be safe. Be kind. And most importantly, love each other. And I will see y'all mañana. Hi, everybody. Also, be on the lookout. I'm going to drop a new rant video. Hey, Jesus, thank you for the streak, buddy. 30 stream streak. Be handed on a 10 stream streak. Let's go. Keith Sager resubscribed. I missed that shit. Damn it, Keith. My bad. Keith is now subscribed for 54 months. Man. Fucking A, love you, Keith. May all your lawns grow beautifully. I hope Grape God gets abducted by the Walmart meth RV. All right. Oh, yes, he is playing. Oh, good. Well, we'll get to watch our show tonight. All right. Bye, everybody. Love y'all. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Eddie's making a YouTube video!